I heard my husband planning our divorce while I was supposed to be sleeping upstairs. The words drifted through the heating vent from his study below, clear as crystal. I'll file next month, Liam said into his phone, his voice smug. She won't see it coming. By the time she realizes what's happening, I'll have everything moved. I sat frozen on the edge of our bed, champagne from our anniversary dinner still buzzing in my veins. We'd just celebrated 15 years of marriage 3 hours ago at Marcello's, the most expensive restaurant in Boston. He'd given me diamond earrings. I'd given him a vintage watch. Now he was on the phone with someone, laughing about taking me for everything I had. Sophia's already apartment hunting for us, he continued. Sophia. Our family friend. The 28-year-old woman I'd mentored in her marketing career. My stomach turned. Don't worry, babe. I've been moving money into offshore accounts for months. She has no idea. I stood up slowly, walked to my closet, and looked at myself in the full-length mirror. My name is Victoria Donovan. I'm 43 years old. I built a tech consulting empire from nothing. And I had $150 million that Liam knew nothing about. I didn't cry that night. Crying was for people who didn't have options. Instead, I lay in bed next to my sleeping husband and made lists in my head. Assets. Accounts. Evidence. Liam had always been the charming one, the man who worked the room at parties while I closed deals in boardrooms. He'd quit his sales job 5 years ago, claiming he wanted to pursue photography. I'd supported that decision. Supported him. Paid for his equipment, his studio space, his trips to capture the perfect shot. Meanwhile, my company, Donovan Solutions, had grown from a small consulting firm to a major player in tech strategy. We had offices in 8 cities. We handled Fortune 500 clients. And Liam had no idea how much money I actually made. He saw the joint account where I deposited enough to keep him comfortable. He saw the house, the cars, the vacations. But he didn't see the separate corporation I'd maintained since before our marriage. He didn't see the investments, the offshore holdings, the careful structure I'd built to protect what I'd earned. My father had taught me one thing before he died: protect yourself first. Always. Morning came with Liam kissing my forehead. Good morning, beautiful, he said, his smile warm. I smiled back. Good morning. He'd always been a good actor. So had I. Over breakfast, I watched him scroll through his phone, probably texting Sophia. He looked relaxed, confident. A man with a plan. I have meetings all day, I said, buttering my toast. Probably won't be home until late. No problem, Liam replied. I have a shoot in Cambridge anyway. A shoot. Right. I nodded and finished my coffee. At my office downtown, I locked the door and made 3 phone calls. The first was to Marcus Webb, my attorney and oldest friend. Marcus, I need you to do something for me, I said. And I need complete discretion. Always, he replied. What's going on? My marriage is about to end badly. I need to move assets before my husband knows what's happening. The second call was to Helena Price, my financial advisor. Helena, remember that offshore structure we discussed last year? The Cayman accounts? Yes. I need everything moved there by Friday. Every dollar from my private holdings. The third call was to a private investigator named Thomas Reed. I need surveillance on my husband. Photos, communications, everything. That evening, I came home to find Liam cooking dinner. Pasta with cream sauce, my favorite. Thought we'd have a quiet night in, he said, pouring wine. We sat at our dining room table, the same table where we'd hosted Thanksgiving 3 months ago. Where Sophia had sat, laughing at Liam's jokes, touching his arm when she thought I wasn't looking. I should have seen it then. How was your day? I asked, twirling pasta on my fork. Good. The Cambridge shoot went well. Got some great shots of the Charles River at sunset. I nodded. And Sophia? How's she doing with that new campaign you were helping her with? Liam's hand paused halfway to his mouth. Just for a second. Sophia? Oh, yeah, she's doing great. Really finding her voice in marketing. That's wonderful, I said, my voice steady. She's lucky to have a mentor like you. His eyes met mine. Was that uncertainty I saw? Good. Let him wonder what I knew. Let him feel the first crack in his perfect plan. We finished dinner making small talk about nothing important. He had no idea that while he was lying to my face, my attorney was already drawing up papers. My money was already moving. My evidence was already being collected. The next morning, I met Marcus at his office. He'd drawn up everything overnight. These protect your business completely, he said, sliding documents across his desk. Donovan Solutions remains solely yours. These other papers establish the timeline of your separate assets dating back before your marriage. And the offshore accounts? Helena confirmed the transfers. Everything you've earned through your private holdings is now untouchable. Legally, cleanly. He can't claim any of it. I signed each document carefully. My hand didn't shake. Marcus, there's something else. I need you to file for divorce. He looked up, surprised. You want to file first? Absolutely. But not yet. I need you to prepare everything. I want to control the timing. Marcus leaned back in his chair. Victoria, you're 3 steps ahead of him already, aren't you? I'm always 3 steps ahead. That afternoon, Thomas Reed sent me his first report. Photos of Liam meeting Sophia at a coffee shop downtown. Photos of them entering an apartment building in the South End. Photos of them kissing in the doorway. Timestamps. Dates. Everything documented. I saved each file in a folder I labeled evidence. Then I went to a business dinner and smiled through every conversation, every handshake, every deal discussed. A week passed. Liam grew more confident. He started mentioning changes casually over breakfast. You ever think about what you'd do differently if you could start over? He asked one morning. I looked up from my laptop. Start over how? Just in general. Like, what if we could redesign our lives? I pretended to think about it. I'd probably spend more time on the business. Really push into international markets. He looked disappointed. Not the answer he wanted. I meant personally, he said. Like relationships. Life choices. Are you unhappy, Liam? I asked directly. He shifted in his chair. No. Just thinking out loud. But I knew what he was doing. Testing the waters. Setting the stage for his announcement. That evening, I heard him on the phone again. She suspects nothing, he said. I'm going to tell her next week. Make it public at the Harringtons' party. Everyone will be there. The Harringtons' annual spring party. Of course. Maximum humiliation in front of our entire social circle. I walked downstairs to his study. He was at his desk, laptop open. Hey, I said from the doorway. He jumped, quickly closing his laptop. Hey. I didn't hear you come down. Just wanted to say goodnight. I smiled. Big day tomorrow. The Harringtons' party came 3 days later. Their penthouse overlooked Boston Harbor, filled with business leaders, socialites, and friends we'd known for years. I wore red. Confident. Bold. Liam wore his best suit, the one I'd bought him last Christmas. We arrived together, the perfect couple. Mrs. Harrington greeted us at the door. Victoria. Liam. So glad you could make it. We mingled. I chatted with colleagues about expansion plans. Liam drifted toward the bar, where Sophia stood in a tight black dress. I watched them from across the room. She touched his arm. He leaned in close. They thought they were being subtle. Around 9 p.m., I noticed Liam checking his watch nervously. He kept glancing at me, then at the crowd. This was it. His moment. I excused myself from a conversation about market trends and moved near the center of the room. Liam clinked his champagne glass. Everyone. Can I have your attention for a moment? The room quieted. Sophia smiled from the corner. Liam cleared his throat. I have an announcement to make. After much thought, I've decided that we're expanding Donovan Solutions to London. I interrupted, raising my own glass. Thank you all for being part of this journey. The room erupted in congratulations. Liam's face went white. That night, Liam drove home in silence. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. At home, he exploded. What the hell was that? What was what? I asked calmly, removing my earrings. You knew what I was going to say. Did I? I turned to face him. What were you going to say, Liam? He opened his mouth, closed it. I was going to tell everyone about a photography opportunity. Really? That's what required such a dramatic announcement? I walked to our bedroom. Seemed like you had something more important on your mind. He followed me upstairs. Victoria, we need to talk. About? About us. About our marriage. I sat on the bed, looking at him directly. What about our marriage? I think we've grown apart. I nodded slowly. Have we? Yes. And I think we should consider separating. There it was. Finally honest. Interesting, I said. Because I found something interesting this week too. I pulled out my phone, opened the photos Thomas had sent. Liam and Sophia kissing. Liam entering her apartment. Dates. Times. Everything. His face went from white to red. Victoria, I can explain, save it, I said quietly. We're done here. Wait, just listen, no, Liam. You listen. Tomorrow morning, pack your things. You're leaving. He left. Not because he wanted to, but because he realized his plan had failed. His grand public announcement. His moment of control. Gone. I spent the next day in Marcus's office, reviewing every detail. The prenup you signed before marriage is clear, Marcus said. Separate property remains separate. Your business, your investments, your inherited assets, all protected. And the money he moved offshore? We're tracking it. He'll have to return it or face legal consequences. Helena joined us that afternoon. The $150 million is secure, she confirmed. He never knew about it. Your corporate structure kept everything separate. Legally, he has no claim. What about the house? I asked. Joint asset, Marcus replied. But given his infidelity and financial misconduct, we can argue for you to retain it. I nodded. What's his financial situation without my support? Helena pulled up a spreadsheet. His photography business operates at a loss. Has for years. He's been living entirely off your income. Without access to your accounts, he's essentially broke. Perfect, I said. Not because I wanted him to suffer, but because I wanted him to understand consequences. That evening, I got a call from Liam. Victoria, please. Can we talk about this reasonably? We are being reasonable, I replied. You wanted a divorce. I'm giving you one. But the accounts, I can't access anything. Those are my accounts, Liam. Not ours. The next week, Thomas delivered his full report. Liam hadn't just been planning to leave me. He'd been systematically documenting my daily routine, my business contacts, even my passwords. He'd hired his own lawyer months ago. He'd researched divorce law, asset division, everything. He'd planned this for over a year. There's more, Thomas said, sliding another folder across the table. Sophia isn't just his girlfriend. She works for a competitor of yours. Stellar Marketing Group. My head snapped up. What? They've been feeding information about your clients to Stellar. Meeting notes, strategy documents, everything Liam could access from your home office. Espionage. Industrial espionage on top of adultery. Do you have proof? Emails, text messages, recorded conversations. Everything. I sat back in my chair. This wasn't just a marriage ending. This was corporate warfare. I called my head of security immediately. Daniel, I need you to audit every client account. Check for breaches, leaked information, anything unusual. When? Now. That night, I reviewed every document Thomas had provided. Emails between Liam and Sophia discussing my business calendar. Messages about which clients were unhappy, which contracts were up for renewal. They'd been using my marriage as cover to destroy my company. The betrayal cut deeper than the affair. This was my life's work. Liam started calling constantly. I didn't answer. He sent emails. I didn't respond. He showed up at my office. Security turned him away. Mrs. Donovan, your husband is in the lobby, my assistant said one morning. He's demanding to see you. Tell security he's trespassing. If he doesn't leave, call the police. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Liam's mother. Victoria, what's going on? Liam is devastated. I'm sure he is, I replied calmly. Did he mention why we're divorcing? He said you've become cold, obsessed with work, that you've shut him out. Of course he did. Mrs. Morrison, has Liam mentioned Sophia to you? Silence. Because I have photos of them together. Dates, locations, everything. Would you like me to send them? Oh my God, she whispered. I didn't know. Now you do. I hung up. That afternoon, Liam's lawyer sent Marcus a letter. They were demanding 50% of my business. 50% of our joint assets. Alimony. This is aggressive, Marcus said, reading it aloud. They're claiming he supported your career emotionally, that his sacrifice deserves compensation. I laughed. Actually laughed. His sacrifice? He quit working to pursue hobbies while I built an empire. That's exactly what we'll argue in court. I called a meeting with my closest friends. Patricia, my college roommate. Diana, my business partner. Veronica, my neighbor of 10 years. We met at my house, wine and appetizers spread across the kitchen island. I need you to know something, I said. Liam and I are divorcing. Patricia gasped. Diana didn't look surprised. Veronica poured more wine. He's been having an affair with Sophia. And they've been stealing from my company. That little snake, Patricia said. I never liked her. Diana leaned forward. How can we help? Just be prepared. Liam's going to tell his version of events. I need people who know the truth. We've got your back, Veronica said firmly. That week, Liam's narrative spread through our social circle. I was cold. Obsessed with work. I'd neglected him. Pushed him away. Some people believed it. Mostly his friends, the ones he'd cultivated over years of being the charming photographer. But more people saw through it. They remembered who paid for everything. Who supported him. Who actually worked. Mrs. Harrington called me personally. I heard about Liam's announcement at my party, she said. The one you interrupted. Yes? Brilliant move, dear. Absolutely brilliant. Everyone's talking about your London expansion instead of his pathetic drama. Sophia called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Victoria, she said, her voice shaking. I need to talk to you. About? About Liam. About everything. I waited. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she continued. He told me you didn't love him anymore. That you were already planning to divorce him. That he was just trying to protect himself financially. And you believed that? At first, yes. But now, he's different. Angry. Desperate. He keeps talking about money, about what he's owed. Sophia, let me be very clear. You helped him steal from my company. You participated in industrial espionage. Do you understand the legal implications? She started crying. I didn't know it was illegal. I thought I was just helping him understand your work. Save it. My lawyers have every communication between you two. Every stolen document. Every strategy you passed to Stellar Marketing. Please, Victoria. I'm sorry. I'll testify. I'll tell the truth about everything. I paused. That was unexpected. Why would you do that? Because he used me. And I'm not going down alone. I scheduled a meeting between Sophia, Marcus, and me for the following day. She arrived pale, nervous, carrying a flash drive. Everything's on here, she said. All our communications. His plans. The timeline of everything. The financial revelation came during a conference call with Helena. Victoria, I need to tell you something about the joint account. My chest tightened. He moved money, didn't he? He tried. Attempted to transfer $300,000 yesterday. But I'd already frozen the account per your instructions last week. Relief flooded through me. So he got nothing? Nothing. And the attempt is documented. He tried to empty the account without your authorization. That afternoon, I met with my business partners to discuss the Stellar Marketing situation. They've been undercutting our bids, Diana said. 3 clients switched to them last quarter using strategies eerily similar to ours. Because they had inside information, I replied. Provided by my husband and Sophia. What's our move? I pulled out the evidence Thomas had compiled. We sue. Corporate espionage, theft of trade secrets, everything. And we make sure everyone knows exactly what they did. Daniel, my head of security, had completed his audit. 2 major breaches, he reported. Both traced back to documents Liam photographed from your home office. He wasn't just a photographer. He was literally photographing confidential information. Sue them all, I said firmly. By Friday, news broke. Donovan Solutions was suing Stellar Marketing for corporate espionage. Liam's name was in every article. Liam showed up at the house. I'd changed the locks, but he stood in the driveway, shouting. Victoria! Open the door. We need to talk. I called the police. My estranged husband is trespassing. I'd like him removed from my property. They arrived within minutes. Sir, you need to leave, the officer said. This is my house. Liam protested. Actually, I said from the doorway, holding up documents, it's my house. Purchased with my money before our marriage. I added you to the deed, but removed you last week per these legal documents. His face went red. You can't do that. I can and I did. Officers, please escort him off my property. As they led him away, he turned back. This isn't over, Victoria. I'll take you for everything. You tried that already, I called back. It didn't work. That evening, Marcus called. Liam's lawyer just contacted me. They want to settle. What are they offering? He'll drop his claims to the business and investments if you give him the house and $2 million. I laughed. Absolutely not. That's what I told them. They're panicking because the corporate espionage case is gaining traction. If he's found guilty, he could face criminal charges. Good, I said. Let him panic. The media attention grew. Business journalists called for comments. Tech blogs covered the story. Female CEO fights back against corporate espionage, read one headline. My phone rang constantly with interview requests. I accepted one. National Business Review. Ms. Donovan, how did you discover the theft? Through thorough security protocols and documentation, I replied. When you build something from nothing, you protect it. Your husband was involved. That must be difficult. What's difficult is betrayal. But I've learned that personal feelings can't interfere with protecting your business and your future. The article went viral. Shares. Comments. Support from people I'd never met. This is exactly what women need to see, one comment read. Protecting yourself isn't cold. It's smart. Meanwhile, Liam's world crumbled. His photography studio lease was up. Without my financial support, he couldn't renew it. His equipment, bought with my money, was legally mine. His reputation was destroyed. Even Sophia had abandoned him, agreeing to testify against him in the corporate case. He's living in his car, Patricia told me after running into him at a gas station. Looks terrible. Lost weight. Hasn't shaved. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not pity. Just nothing. He'd made his choices. These were his consequences. I hired the best divorce attorney in Boston. Samantha Ridge. Tough, brilliant, ruthless. I've reviewed your case, she said at our first meeting. You're in an incredibly strong position. Separate assets, documented infidelity, corporate espionage. He has no leverage. What's the timeline? We file, he responds, we go to court. 3 months, maybe 4. And the outcome? You keep everything that's legally yours. The business, your investments, your inherited assets. The house stays with you. He gets whatever the court deems fair from joint assets, which is minimal. No alimony given his adultery and criminal activity. I signed the retainer agreement. Let's proceed. That week, I focused on my business. New clients signed. The London expansion moved forward. Diana and I presented at a major tech conference. Life continued. Improved, even. I came home to silence instead of tension. I made decisions without considering someone else's fragile ego. I worked late without guilt. I thrived. You seem lighter, Patricia observed over dinner. Like a weight lifted. It has, I agreed. I spent 15 years managing his emotions, his career, his dreams. Now I only manage my own. Do you miss him? I thought about it honestly. I miss who I thought he was. But that person never actually existed. The divorce filing made news. Tech CEO files for divorce following corporate espionage scandal. Liam's lawyer sent a response full of accusations. I'd been controlling. Manipulative. I'd hidden money. Refused to support his dreams. Marcus and Samantha reviewed it together. This is desperation, Samantha said. Every claim is easily disproven. He's trying to paint himself as the victim, Marcus added. It won't work. The preliminary hearing was set for 2 weeks out. I prepared thoroughly, gathering every document, every photo, every piece of evidence. The night before the hearing, I reviewed everything one last time. Bank statements showing my separate accounts established before marriage. Documents proving I'd built Donovan Solutions alone. Evidence of Liam's affair and corporate theft. His attempts to steal from joint accounts. I'd protected myself at every turn. The hearing lasted 3 hours. Liam sat across the courtroom, his lawyer speaking for him. He looked smaller somehow. Defeated. The judge reviewed our submitted evidence. Mr. Morrison, she said, looking over her glasses, did you or did you not attempt to withdraw $300,000 from a joint account without your wife's knowledge? Yes, Your Honor, but, and did you engage in a romantic relationship with Ms. Sophia Bennett while still married? Yes, but Victoria was, yes or no, Mr. Morrison? Yes. Liam's lawyer made a desperate attempt. Your Honor, my client requests a temporary settlement. Mrs. Donovan has frozen all accounts. He has no access to funds, no way to support himself. Mr. Morrison quit his employment 5 years ago, Samantha countered. He's been living entirely off Mrs. Donovan's income since then. She has no obligation to continue supporting his lifestyle. The judge agreed. Temporary support denied. This hearing is continued for full discovery. We'll reconvene in 60 days. Outside the courthouse, Liam tried to approach me. Victoria, please. Can we talk privately? No, I said, walking past him. Everything goes through our lawyers now. I never meant to hurt you, he called after me. I stopped, turned back. You didn't hurt me, Liam. You freed me. Thank you for that. In the car, Samantha smiled. That was cold. That was honest, I corrected. He expected me to break. To beg him to stay. Instead, I'm thriving while he's falling apart. The corporate case goes to court next month, she reminded me. Stellar is trying to settle. They know they'll lose. No settlement, I said firmly. I want this on record. I want everyone to know what they did. She nodded. I thought you'd say that. News of the hearing spread. My phone exploded with messages. Support from colleagues. Congratulations from friends. Even strangers reached out on social media. You're inspiring women everywhere, one message read. Thank you for showing us how to protect ourselves. But the most unexpected call came from Liam's mother. Victoria, I owe you an apology. I sat down, surprised. For what? For believing him. For thinking you were the cold one. I saw the evidence. Diana showed me everything. Diana? She came to see me. Brought documents, photos. She wanted me to know the truth about my son. I made a mental note to thank Diana later. Mrs. Morrison, I never wanted to hurt Liam. I just wanted him to be honest. He wasn't raised like this, she said, her voice breaking. His father and we taught him better. Sometimes people make choices that disappoint us, I replied gently. That's not your fault. After we hung up, I felt lighter. I hadn't wanted to lose Liam's family, despite everything. The validation mattered. That evening, I had dinner with my core team. Diana, Patricia, Veronica, Marcus, Helena. To Victoria, Diana raised her glass. The woman who didn't just survive betrayal. She conquered it. The corporate case went to trial. Stellar's lawyers tried everything. Claimed Sophia acted alone. Said Liam was just a photographer who happened to see documents. Argued that competition wasn't espionage. But Thomas's evidence was ironclad. Emails discussing specific client strategies. Photos of confidential documents. Recorded conversations about using stolen information. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. We find in favor of Donovan Solutions, the forewoman announced. $5 million in damages. $3 million in punitive damages. Stellar stock plummeted. Their CEO resigned. Sophia faced criminal charges. And Liam was named as a co-conspirator. This is the beginning of the end for them, Diana said as we left the courthouse. Companies won't touch them now. Their reputation is destroyed. Good, I replied. Not because I enjoyed their suffering, but because actions had consequences. My company's value increased after the verdict. Clients saw me as someone who fought back. Who protected her interests. New contracts poured in. You become a symbol, my PR director said. Women in business see you as proof that you don't have to accept betrayal. That you can fight and win. I did 3 more interviews that week. Forbes. Wall Street Journal. Business Insider. Each one reinforcing the same message: protect yourself, document everything, never apologize for being prepared. The final divorce hearing arrived on a cold Tuesday morning. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, business associates, friends from both sides. Liam sat with his lawyer, looking exhausted. His suit was wrinkled. His hair needed cutting. He'd aged years and months. The judge reviewed all evidence one final time. "This is one of the clearest cases I've seen," she said. "Mrs. Donovan established and maintained separate assets throughout the marriage. She can document every dollar earned through her business. Mr. Morrison, meanwhile, attempted to defraud his wife, engaged in adultery, and participated in corporate espionage." Liam's lawyer stood. "Your Honor, we'd like to request," "Sit down," the judge interrupted. "I'm not finished." She looked at Liam directly. "Mr. Morrison, you attempted to take advantage of your wife's success. You tried to steal from her. You betrayed her trust in multiple ways. This court sees no reason why you should benefit from any of her hard-earned assets." "But Your Honor," Liam started. "My ruling is as follows. Mrs. Donovan retains full ownership of her business, all separate investments, and the marital home. Mr. Morrison will receive $50,000 from joint savings, which represents his documented contributions over 15 years. No alimony. Court costs split evenly." Liam's face went white. $50,000? That's all? "That's all you're entitled to," the judge replied firmly. "You're fortunate Mrs. Donovan isn't pursuing criminal charges against you for the attempted account theft." Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded me. "Ms. Donovan, how do you feel?" "Relieved," I answered honestly. "I can finally move forward. Do you have any message for women facing similar situations?" I thought carefully. Protect yourself. Always. Keep your own accounts. Document everything. Trust your instincts. And never feel guilty for being prepared. What about Mr. Morrison? "I wish him well," I said, meaning it. "Everyone deserves a chance to rebuild." That was generous of me. More generous than he deserved. But I wasn't doing this for him. I was doing it for myself. To prove I could take the high road even after everything. Liam left Boston the following week. Moved to Portland, according to Patricia's sources. Took a job in corporate photography at a small firm. Started over at 47 with $50,000 and no prospects. Sophia moved to Chicago, avoiding criminal charges in exchange for her testimony. Her career in marketing was over. No major firm would touch her after what she'd done. Stellar Marketing declared bankruptcy within 6 months. Their client list evaporated. Their reputation never recovered. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I stood in my London office, looking out over the Thames. Donovan Solutions UK was exceeding all projections. We'd signed contracts with 3 major European corporations. The expansion was working. My phone buzzed. "Helena. Victoria, I wanted to give you an update on your portfolio." "Good news, I hope?" "Your net worth just crossed $200 million. The investments we made after the divorce have performed exceptionally well." I smiled. I'd started marriage with $20 million. Built it to $150 million during those 15 years. And now, just months after Liam tried to take everything, I had $200 million. Also, Helena continued, I heard Liam tried to start a photography business in Portland. It failed within 3 months. I heard, I replied. I'd heard other things too. That he was dating someone new. That he'd told her I was a controlling ex-wife who'd stolen everything from him. That he was still playing the victim. I didn't care anymore. His narrative didn't touch me. That evening, I had dinner with a potential investor. Vincent Ross, CEO of a major tech firm. Brilliant, charming, age-appropriate. I've been following your story, he said over wine. Impressive how you handled everything. Thank you, I replied. Though I'd rather be known for my business success than my divorce drama. A year after Liam walked out of the courtroom with his $50,000, I hosted a celebration at my Boston office. 100 employees. Clients from 6 countries. Friends who'd supported me through everything. Thank you all for being here, I said, raising my glass. Donovan Solutions has had its best year ever. We've expanded to 3 new markets. We've doubled our client base. And we've proven that integrity matters in business. Applause filled the room. Diana squeezed my hand. Patricia wiped her eyes. Veronica gave me a thumbs up. Later, sitting on my back porch, I thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal. The fight. The victory. The rebuilding. I'd lost a husband but gained myself back. Lost a marriage but gained freedom. Lost trust in one person but learned to trust myself completely. My phone buzzed. An article notification. Victoria Donovan named top female CEO of the year. I smiled. Not because of the award, though that was nice. But because I'd done exactly what I set out to do. I'd protected what was mine. Built something that couldn't be stolen. Proved that preparation beats deception every time. Liam had tried to destroy me. Instead, he'd freed me to become exactly who I was always meant to be. Successful. Independent. Unbreakable. And that was the best revenge of all.